Hey, it's me again. I actually got on this I'm going to do it now instead of after lunch. Because I'm just going to show you really one button in here. This is called the Batch Update Mobile Home Permits. It's probably not really applicable for just clicking on one point, but if you have, let's go find an area where you have a bunch of points. So this is a different look and feel because the idea is that you would use this when you're out in the field. You wouldn't necessarily do this in the office per se. However, you could do it in the office as well, but I've set it up to where you have the buttons down here because the idea is that it would be easier for like your thumb, because essentially this would be a way to do batch updates when you're in the field. Because currently the collector application is really just one point at a time. So I hit one permit and I change the attributes for just that one permit. And then when I go to the next permit, I have to do it just for that one permit. And the strength of Collector, though, is it's designed and built for a mobile application. This web application is designed essentially to run in a mobile space, but it wasn't built for the mobile space. It's still going to be a web application running in the browser on the mobile device, not necessarily a application that actually was designed and built for the mobile device. So we have the same things up here. We have the same layers, the same functionality here as well. You can still export to CSV on this. You got the legend, layer list, the filter. I have a new tool called the Batch Attribute Editor and the bookmark. So let's go ahead and just apply a filter to this. So now instead of the buttons being docked up here and the pane being locked in here, now this one is actually, it's floating. So let's go look at 582 and then look at a date. So let's go to December again, 2017, click on 1, and then do another date, December 2017, 31st. Now what we've done on this is we've added permit type. So if you wanted to just look at new construction, and now it's still turned off, so I just turn it on. Now it's going to only show me essentially what's flagged permit type for new construction. Well, I'm going to zoom into these guys right here, these completeds, because I'm not going to make any changes, but I'd rather do it on completeds that are yeses than on something else, just to be careful. So at this point, I could come in and I can minimize this, turns it off. So I have this, it's still there. I just click on it to reopen it, minimize it. I can open up the table. It's set to filter by map extent. Now I can actually turn this button off and then it would just show me, theoretically, it won't filter by the map extent. It's going to filter, it filters data out. It doesn't show the data like out here. I mean, I have this other filter that's applied, and that filter is what it's taking precedence over everything else. But if we didn't have a filter in here, you can actually turn this off and you would see all the records in here. Where this comes in is if I'm looking at all the data, but I'm zoomed in to a specific area in Coachella Valley, and I only want to see the areas within my map extent in the table, I would click this button. Because I have a filter in here, it's not really applicable, but well, I got mobile home space. Let me put over her permits. Like right now, I have 6 features in here. If I didn't have this filter in there, and I had this turned off, and I was still zoomed in this area, it would show me every record in here. But if with like having this checked on, it's only going to show me whatever records were within my exact extent that I'm in right now. And so once again, within this UI, I can export out to CSV. What I'm trying to do here is just to show you how to do a batch update. So I can click this button, this middle button. I get this batch attribute editor. Different ways to select. I can click by a point. I can draw an extent. Like I can do, essentially I'm left clicking and I'm drawing out a rectangle. It's not going to select anything. It shouldn't select anything. There's nothing there. Point would be just, I'm going to just select by point. A polygon is click once with the left, click again. I'm doing, every time I create a vertex, I'm actually left clicking. And then to complete it, as you see the little pop-up there says double click to complete, I would double click and it would draw a rectangle. Or I like this tool, a freehand tool. This time I just press and hold to draw a shape to select features. So I left click and I just draw a little circle around there and then release. And now I have everything that I wanted to select selected. Now with these circles, these are saying this is the active selection. I can come in here and you're going to, like I said, if you did this in a mobile space and you're on the iPad, you would do this with your thumb. So the freehand tool is easier to do than like a polygon or even an extent, because I'm clicking with a big finger and I'm actually just drawing with that finger. Now what this allows me to do is I can come in here, and if these were all no's and I wanted to complete them, I would just click the drop down and say yes, and then it would apply to all of them. Versus collector, I'd have to hit one point at a time. So this gives me the ability, for residential anyway, we go into a new construction area, housing tract, and I have 10 houses I need to complete. I would just select those 10 and I would batch calc all of them just like that. I'm not going to do any selections because this is live data, but essentially I've enabled these fields to be editable. If there's other fields that you need, then let me know, but right now it's just these ones right here. I'm going to close that out. I don't want these selected anymore. I just click clear, and now that's non-editable. And that is a quick little tour of the batch attribute. Now, if I want to close this table box, how do I do that? Click it, and click that, or I can click this and see how my arrows change. But if you're in the field, you're not going to have that control. You're not going to be able to probably get your finger in there. So it might just be easier just to thumb in or finger this, just touch it, and then close it. And then you get all the data. Let me come back here. Let me turn that off, and zooms out. And then that's just a quick little overview of the application. If you have any questions, please give me a call, and we'll go from there.